Hey, welcome back to another episode of Let's Wing This, the YouTube channel where everybody needs a haircut. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. Today I actually have useful information for you. So, normally on this channel, what I'm trying to do is figure something out as I do it, and I take you along for the journey and kind of explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it and figuring it out. So it's a journey for both of us. Today, however, I actually know how to do the thing that I recorded, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it so that it looks nice for you when you're finished. That's right, I just hung these curtains right over here, and I made them look really nice, and my bedroom looks fantastic now. So, I'm going to show you how you can do the exact same thing in your house and make it look nice when you're finished. So let's wing this. Tip number one, have a clean area to work in. It's a very undervalued step. It's very simple to remedy. Just clean up. You'll have plenty of room to move your step stool around and do the job you need to do. Tip number two, prepare your work surface. So if you're fortunate and you're going to be hanging your curtains and your curtain rod after you've painted a room, much like the situation I'm in, it makes a lot of sense to take some time before you paint, patch the holes, prepare the surface, do some sanding, and then paint. You have a nice clean work surface and it'll have a perfectly good look when you're done hanging the curtains. Tip number three, get the right curtain length. If, like me, you have 8-foot ceilings, stick with an 84-inch curtain length. They'll hang slightly above the floor and they'll draw your eye up without drawing attention to the fact that you have a somewhat low ceiling. If you're fortunate enough to have 9-foot ceilings, go with a 96-inch curtain. They'll really draw your eye up and accent exactly how high your ceiling is for a great finished look. Tip 4. Have all of the tools and hardware you might need when you get started with the project. Consider, for instance, how does your curtain rod attach to the wall? What type of brackets will you need? 2. What is your wall material? Is it drywall, plaster, wood paneling? 3. How long is your curtain rod going to be? Will you need an additional bracket in the middle in order to support the weight? These are all questions you should consider when preparing for your project to make sure you don't have to make a stop in the middle to run to the hardware store. Tip number 5. You want to make sure to get the right height when you hang your curtains. So what I recommend to do is to place your curtains on the rod with a bracket in hand so you can determine the height you want the curtains to hang. Preferences vary, but I prefer my curtains to hang slightly above floor level. Mark the top of the bracket on the wall with a pencil once you've determined exactly how high you want the curtains to hang. Tip number 6. Make sure that your curtain rod is going to hang level, or at least that it's going to appear to hang level. Not all floors and ceilings are exactly the same distance apart. For instance, I measured 12 inches out from each side of my window. One side is 95.5 inches, the other side is 95 3/4. I recommend deciding which is going to be more prominent in your room, the floor or the ceiling. In my room, the floor will be obscured when you come in the door by the bed. So for me, it's more important that my curtain rod appears to be level against the ceiling line as opposed to against the floor. So I'll be measuring down from the ceiling to make sure that my brackets hang at the exact same distance from the ceiling. Tip number 7. Plan the width of your curtains. If, like me, you have a somewhat small window on a wide wall, you can make the window look much larger by expanding the curtains out to the sides of the window frame. For me, I'll be placing my brackets for the curtain rod about 12 inches outside of the window frame. That way, we can have the curtains open but not bunched up and still enjoy the full width of the window, allowing in as much light as possible while still having the curtains look very nice. Tip number 8. A lot of curtain rod brackets have a long slot for you to put your screws through when mounting to the wall. My advice would be not to use 2 screws at each end of the long slot. If you do, you won't have room to make micro adjustments to your bracket later, ensuring that your curtain rod actually sits level, or appears to sit level. Tip number 9. Since you're going to be drilling holes in the wall above a window, where there's often a header, I would advise using a much smaller drill bit than you initially think is necessary. That way, if you do hit solid wood, you won't have a big hole to patch. As you may have noticed, my 9 tips and tricks mostly revolve around the planning phase. Winging it is a great plan when you're doing something that doesn't have to look great when you're done, but if you want a great look, be sure to sit down and do some planning in advance. All that's left to do now is spend a few minutes actually putting the curtains on the wall. So there you have it, my 9 tips and tricks for hanging curtains properly. If you liked the video, hit the like button down below. If you disliked the video, hit the dislike button. Just make sure you leave a comment and tell me why you didn't like it. I would also appreciate if you hit the subscribe button if you want to see some more content from me. Speaking of that, let me know down in the comments what you want to see me make in the future. I haven't been to the hardware store for inspiration anytime recently, so I'd love to hear from you guys. Lastly, if you're looking for something else that you can do yourself pretty easily, check out this video right over here where I made a picnic table for squirrels so we could feed them in my parents' backyard. Thanks for watching. See you next time.